Welcome. It is January 10th, 2023. Happy New Year to all. Hope you're doing well. It's your boy Duane Cofield. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast, and this is the weekly tap in. I'm tapping in. What is really good, family, man? Hopefully, everybody's on top of their game already. Yeah, man, it feels good to be back. Thank our sponsors. Most of all, thank you to listeners for tapping in, keeping us going, man. We are in season 4, episode number 8, man. Can you believe it? That fast, that fast. Those who are watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, make sure that you put some type of comment to make sure that we know you there, acknowledge you, give you a shout out, etc., etc. But we are rocking and rolling, man. We are looking forward to an explosive yeah, because most of the people talking about survival mode. I'm like, nah, right? So we don't do survival mode, no matter what's going on, right? No matter what the conditions are, we're gonna survive anyway, right? That's our natural instinct. But if we go into survival mode, then that's all we'll be trying to do. So you got to be careful who you talk to, which leads me to the topic that we're talking about today: conversations with winners and losers. Conversations with winners and losers, right? We've all been victim to them, right? I just heard a conversation going on, right, on the radio, and this guy was trying to promote positivity, not in a sense, but just some opportunities that were coming down the pipeline in terms of like local real estate, some things, from an optimistic point of view. And the person that he was talking to just kept coming with the negative talk, would drop this, yeah, but. I'm like, that mentality is interesting. And the way the guy handled the mentality, or just the fact that this guy just kept going on and on about how dismal things were, was fascinating, right? Well, just showed me the art of not necessarily dismissing, because I'm still reading this book about thinking. What is it? Adam, I think it's Adam Grant, the one I told you guys about. I can't think of it off the top of my head because I got a lot going on in my head. But it talks about adopting new frames of thinking, new ways of thinking. D.L. Hughley was talking about that earlier today as well, where he was like, we've been taught to just dismiss people's thoughts because the thoughts we don't agree with them, right? Rather than trying to understand who they are, right? And I try that now, right? Because even before he had said something about it, I'm like, man, I need to adopt a new way of thinking. I don't, because I've been wrong a lot, right? And anytime you wrong a lot, you try to adapt your frame of mind, like, you know what, I may need to do something a little bit different. So I'm like looking at things and I'm like, man, I need to have better conversations, right? I need to have more high level conversations, right? I put out a book on my network, and I just realized that I'm like, nobody responds to this stuff. And then I saw a post from one of my homeboys, and it was like, people, you got to be careful with advice because not everybody takes it well. Which is why I've been chilling. Like I'll say certain things, I'll post this, and I'm actually inspiring someone, but I'm actually creating animosity towards me, right? They start resenting me. Oh man, F this guy. Here he come with this think he know it all shit. Here he come with his book. Oh, he won them. I understand, and I can understand the point of view from that individual, right? If I didn't if I didn't know things, or if I wasn't exposed to something, I can understand how I'd be salty. I can understand how it wouldn't make sense to me. So I'm learning how to be more empathetic because I am changing my way of thinking, right? I'm willing to engage in better conversations, even with people that I disagree with, to try to get a better understanding, right? Because it's really, at the end of the day, it's all about if you're effectively communicating and the person you're talking to understands what you're saying. So when I used to, have this frame of mind, like I shouldn't have to go walk over to the homies and try to convey this information to them. They should want to come to me and try to get this information. But I can't necessarily always take that stance, right? Because that's a selfish stance. That's saying you need to come to me and ask me what I know. And I'm like, yeah, but if I go over there, I don't want them to take it the wrong way and be like, man, here he come with this know-it-all shit. Right. So I have to, but now that's a frame of mind, right? That's a frame of mind. We don't want anybody coming around us outshining us, right? I saw that earlier tonight on that show, like never outshine the master. I'm listening to the 48 Laws of Power. I just bought it again, so I'm listening to it again, and one of the laws is never outshine the master, right? Never outshine the master. And I saw that tonight. I saw the guy who was on the talk show was low key outshining the master. and was getting shut down. And I'm like, I know he has to see this because if he read the 48 Laws of Power, he'll see what's happening to him, how the master's shutting it down. So he was able to flip it around and kind of glorify the master at the same time, and not make it a more of a adversarial type ending, right? Which was dope. I thought the dude was professional and dope at how he handled it. But it just showed me, right? There's certain people that would rather have loser conversations. And what do loser conversations look like? They don't look like much, right? You don't feel good when you finish talking to somebody who has a loser mentality. I'm not going to call people losers because people are in positions, right, mentally, not necessarily physically, but mentally, where they can't see above a certain level of fog and smoke and whatever the minutia that they're dealing with, right? They can't see past it. So you can't necessarily fault them for thinking the way they do. They can't get out of that fog, right? To really see that, man, it's raining all the time. Yeah, but if you get in an airplane and you go above the clouds, there's no rain, right? Same area, but you got to go above the clouds. But getting them to think of like that is is sometimes heavy. And the one thing that we need to do is often realize that it's not our responsibility to try to change their frame of mind because now you're trying to do something one that isn't your business, and two, you're not going to be able to do. This has to be something that is self-imposed, right? This is something that they want to have to do. I could try to talk a person to their blue in the face and saying, you know what, the world is gravy right now. They'll talk about the recession, they'll talk about water, they'll talk about how prices are eggs. I'm like, yeah, but it's gravy though, right? It's the best time right now. We can command things on the internet. So, sometimes I have one of the best experiences for me was reading a book about a positive mental attitude in a place where everybody has a dismal and badass attitude. Being able to really separate my mental state because I didn't want to fall into that. Because if I fell into that, then I'd also fall into the recidivism numbers that stated 85% of you guys go back. So I had to fake myself out to think completely different, to change my frame of mind to a winner mentality. The cooler talk turns into a negative talk, and oftentimes we want to share our misery as well, right? Have you ever been around somebody that when they start talking negative, you like, well, shit, let me tell you my war story, and it starts to become more and more contagious, right? You gotta can't fall prey to that. That happens a lot. But we see it when we smell it. You gotta know what's happening. Just like when somebody's cussing, we start dropping f bombs as well. It's just your environment. So one, you have to take a real good look at your environment, and I had to, right? Because I put a book up. I said, "Has anybody read this?" I didn't get not one response, not one, and that was interesting to me. And I was like, you know what? Don't do this anymore. Because what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for ego? Are you doing it because you think you have like-minded people? Not everybody's happy. Not everybody likes what you like. And you find somebody that's like you, man, then there's a problem. Right? They should have similar characteristics, but you shouldn't find anybody like you. The one thing you should have in common is I talk to winners, though. That's the one thing. And if I can't talk to winners, I'll talk to my damn self because I'm not going to spend time talking to somebody who doesn't see the world. You don't have to see it in the way I do, but I don't want you to see it. And that's not on me. I don't want my frame of mind to be influenced by your lack of exposure, if that makes sense. Because you haven't been exposed to enough things in life, you haven't seen enough things, you don't necessarily know what the other side will look like and what can be done. I'm the type of person that believes in what can be done, not damn. Let's talk about our circumstance. I'm like, get to the damn solution. When somebody tells me a story, don't spend too much time on the problem. Did you solve it? Did you finish? Did you complete it? I want to hear the height. I want, tell me the negatives, but did you complete it? Nah, no, no. Well, tell me that shit early, man, because I don't have time to be let down twice. Like you know what I mean? And this is the difference between a winner and a loser conversation. You should listen to how many negatives are in the conversation. Not never doubt. You just hear all these things. And a lot of people don't want to hear this. And that's okay because a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm being therapeutic to myself. whether people are listening or not. This is how I'm talking to myself. And your self conversation should be so strong that you're pumping yourself up. You're hearing the other side. Yeah, I understand why people think negative. Man, you walk outside, sometimes you got a case of the Mondays. Sometimes it may be rough outside. Sometimes your car may not start. And I'll give you a perfect example. I got to move the bus every Tuesday because they street sweep. So I keep our bus kind of close. So this morning it wouldn't start. Normally, like in the past, when man, I'd be down, I'd be pissed. Oh, here we go. I'm like, break out the jumper cables, dot, jump it, move it anyway. Been here before, go park it. And then when I come back, I say, you know something, I wonder if it's going to be dead again. Sure enough, starts right up, no problem at all. So my thing with that is I could have let that get me. I could have been down in the dumps. I could have kept going. I could have snowballed my day into some bullshit. But I chose to use what I knew to know it ain't even gonna be that bad. And that's the main thing about winners. They notice that shit is temporary, dog. Whatever you're going through, whatever type of extenuating circumstance, whatever type of difficulty, obstacle, is temporary. Excuse me. But most people make permanent decisions based on temporary circumstances. You double screw yourself, right? And then you start trying to find justification. So oftentimes, what do? We go find somebody in a worse position. You feel what I'm saying? Let's go find somebody in a worse position so that our shit doesn't look that bad. And that's when we go find losers. I used to tell my son that all the time. I'm like, man, why you always go find these cats? And he would just gravitate towards these cats. I'm like, what is it? And for some reason, you identify with I don't know what it is, but there's certain things you identify. When I look at people and I'm like, why you hang around this cat? They got something in common that you don't know. You feel what I'm saying? Or else they rub you the complete wrong way. I'm like, man, it only takes us 2 seconds. I already know this cat ain't the type of dude, type of, whoever I want to be around. Your conversation foul. You start talking negative. I'm like, man, all right, I'm out of here. Because I can't spend time letting, like I said, your lack of exposure influence the way I think. Because you haven't been exposed to a lot of positives into your life. I don't want to call you a loser. I'm not saying that. But because you haven't been exposed to enough positives in your life, you don't see the world the way I do. Just like when you talk to international people, right? People that have been explored the world, they got a different point of view than we do. So that's why I don't call them losers, but I will say you have a loser mentality. You hang around winners, I don't care what quarter we in. I don't care what sport we playing, man. We got a chance. Shit, okay, let's get it. That's how we think. Man, what? Athlete, man, I play whatever. Ping pong. Like I was telling my wife, man, I said from San Diego, homie, highly competitive city. Everybody played every damn thing good. So you had to, yeah, shit, or you wasn't going outside. One or the two, you know what I'm saying? So everybody played everything well. So you had to have a winner mentality. There's a lot of products come out of San Diego, and we got a certain attitude and swagger. LA, certain places got it. And certain cats, it doesn't matter where you at. It's certain cats, your city. It irrelevant. I see it in certain cats. You man, okay, you different. You walk like a winner. I tell my son all the time. I say, you see these cats who just wander around, don't walk like they got a purpose. Loser mentality. Why? Because I'm not in a hurry. I'm not trying to get anywhere. I don't have anywhere to go. And oftentimes, guess what? You're in a winner's way. Man, excuse me, homie. But we don't spend a lot of time talking about excuse me. We'll just walk around your ass and keep going. Nobody got time to sit there and play games and try to understand. I'll try to understand you to a certain degree. But again, I'm not going to let your lack of exposure influence the way I think, because influence is everything, right? I was just reading an article about depression and they said influence has 16% to do with it. So the people that are around you, the suggestive mentalities that they have, the dismal shit that they're complaining about, right? They get up in the morning, damn, it's cold. This food, that needs more. Man, sometimes you want to tell, hey, homie, just shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm battling whatever it is that I'm trying to battle. I ain't got time to hear you complain. And I tell people all the time when I hear them start complaining, I'm like, man, here, man, 21 day complaint, free book. Here, knock it down. Man, to change your to change your whole mentality, the way you see life, because you could see it one way or the other. And I've had the conversation with you guys about the dog shit in the park. There's some people that will only pay attention to dog shit and gopher holes and miss the trees, the smells, the sun, and everything else the park has to offer. Loser mentality, they pay attention to the wrong things. Right? Oh, there's traffic over here, man. But look at all the view. Look at, and God's giving us that's just it. You got to flip it, right? You got to almost, even in entrepreneurship, you got to almost psych yourself out to believe some shit that may not, according to statistics, be possible. So how are you gonna do that with a loser mentality, right? Well, I can't. Shit, it's gonna be hard. Oh, it's gonna be expensive. Nah, there's steps to all this stuff. Steps and stages. Who you talking to? Don't talk to anybody before you spend time talking to them, right? And make them in that case, right? In that case, you want to make them come to you. You want to, because if you go to them trying to tell them who they know who they are. They know they take L's. They sit there trying to figure out how they can get out of the L house. But they have to want to walk out that front door first. You can't keep going to get them. Period. I've done that. I gotta go get the homie. The homie don't ain't never at the door. He don't never come get you. Well, make his ass come out the house, right? Because you can't go into that house. You go into that house, you're gonna get influenced. Like, damn, it is raggedy as a motherfucking. It is woo woo woo. It is this. It is like, man. I've been around you 5 minutes, man. I walk out here and it's already dark outside, and the sun is still shining. But because you can't see things the way I do, you haven't been exposed to you haven't read the books that I've read. You don't see the world the way I do. You don't understand the opportunities and the conversations, right? You haven't read the 4 agreements. You don't understand what your words actually mean, how you could talk yourself into or out of something. People don't understand the power of the tongue, and they speak so much. And I'm like, mm-mm-mm. If you knew the power of tongue, you'd be talking a lot better about yourself, first of all, your hair, your everything, right? You be talking more positive about yourself because you understand the universe and everything else is listening to everything you're saying, right? But again, you don't have to keep repeating it. You just say it, right? But you got to watch your mouth. What you want to happen, man, I suck. Do you? That's a loser conversation. Winners talk about ideas and books and what the possibilities are and who's doing what and what their next moves is. Losers are talking about the past, what didn't happen right, the details of what went wrong. Man, what the fuck do we care about the details of what went wrong unless we're studying how to do it again? Other than that, that shit doesn't even matter. What are we talking about that for? How we took the L, man. We took the L like this in description. You spending time on that on me? I'm spending time on plan B. You feel me? And that's the what's our next step? Where we going hiking? Cats know you come to LA or come to see me. Books, hikes, beach walk, something. That's what we up to. You know what I'm saying? What's your next move? Don't tell me because I'm gonna hold your ass accountable. That's what I'm up to. Not to the point of pain in the ass, but to the point of, man, I'm doing you how I would want to be done. Hold me accountable, dog. But I have to hold myself accountable, right? Because I've tried to realize that even trying to rely on other people, it may not work. So you got to hold yourself accountable in a sense. Like I gotta discipline myself to get up and make sure that this is happening every day. I gotta make sure I gotta get up and make sure that my podcast is being produced. I don't have a producer. It's me and this mic and what I know. But I tell you what, I'm on my Melvin Band People shit, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. Because ain't nobody telling me, man, you can't do that. You got to do this. You got to do an introduction like this, man. I'm doing whatever I know. All this stuff is new, right? I'm reading a book called The Master Switch, and they're talking about how amateur radio started, just like podcast, just like podcast. Everybody's trying to figure it out, and this is where experts become experts. But you got to put in your work. I'm in 5 years at this, 5 years, going on 5 years, getting better and better, right? Not gonna quit. See it as something as this is a classroom for me, right? A therapy session. And I happen to open up my doors to all the homies. But I'm really talking to myself. right? I'm really talking to myself, and that's the thing. What I have to do, I have to, man. What you learn? I got to have conversations with winners, and if I can't have a conversation with a winner, let me listen to one amongst winners. So let me listen to a podcast. I'm about to listen to Tim Ferriss podcast, talking to the guy who wrote Atomic Habits. I'm, I guarantee you, I'll take 2 or 3 nuggets out of there. Just on the 2 hour, it's 2 hours, dog. I wish I had a trip. Like if my dad was alive, we'd be at the casino. Not listen to the podcast on the way because he ain't gonna talk to me. Like perfect. You know what I'm saying? But those are those opportunities I look forward to because I know I'm getting 2 or 3 nuggets out of that. I know I'm getting 2 or 3 books out of that. And those 2 or 3 books gonna lead me to 2 or 3 other books. Then they're gonna lead me to optimism. I didn't even know you could do that shit. I didn't know you could open up a business like that. Man, I didn't even know. Oh, for real? And it opens you up to just more and more information. And that's winners conversations. You always when you see million, they just got a gleam and a smile, right? A lot of times they just got new teeth or whatever, but at the same time, they got this glow and they just giving out game. Like, man, just stick with it, man. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself longer than everybody else does, right? Listen to that episode. You got to have the belief in yourself longer than everybody because people gonna fall out. I talk about that in my sales class. It's like a funnel. You got to constantly be putting leads in there because leads are going to fall out. They're going to fall out at different stages in the process. And so are your believers. Some are going to ride with you in the beginning, man. You the dopest thing. Man, we love drug dealers to business, man. We in. 3 years down the line, they don't oh, you still doing that podcast shit? Right? Oh, you still got it? Oh, okay. So you got to understand that people going to come in and out, but you got to be consistent. Doesn't matter if your food nasty or not, man. You open up your doors every day, you're gonna get some people that love some nasty ass food. Same thing with this podcast, right? I gotta just stay open. I don't know who gonna listen and when they're gonna listen. I don't know when it's gonna pop or when it's gonna come my way. If it even is, doesn't matter, right? It's not my intention. My intention is to show up, have my therapy session, talk about how I've been affected and what tools and resources that I'm using to help myself. And I tell you what, you see my shirt? All the time. I'm always reading something, listening, reading something because I've realized that that's what stimulates me, right? It's information, learning new things. Love it. Winter conversations, homie. What are we learning next? I'm learning how to publish. I'm like, that's going to lead me to writing books, which was my ultimate goal a long time ago. God always brings you full circle to your stuff as long as you're sincere and honest about what it is you want. He will bring you full circle. So you don't have to be like my son. I always tell my son, you don't have to remind me of shit. I heard you. And the same thing with God. You don't have to remind him of shit. He heard you. The thing which you need to start doing is preparing yourself to receive it. Because if you ain't in the condition to receive it, you ain't in the position to receive it, it's not coming to you. But he heard you. So you don't have to repeat shit. Trust me on that. And winners understand that, right? I done asked you, God, let me move on. And it's gonna come my way anyway. The girl, the house, you name it, it comes back your way. He heard you. You just ain't ready for her. Right? If it's that girl, you just ain't ready to receive her yet. You see her, yeah, okay, but you got to clean your bathroom, homie. Right? Whatever it is. You got to do, you know what I'm saying? You ain't ready yet, dog. And then once you start to clean up and make those moves, whether it's a physical bathroom or it's, in the however you say that shit, right? But you guys get what I'm saying. You got to take steps to clean it up, right? Business, same thing with me. One of my don't get it twisted, man. Do not get it twisted. We still New Year's, yeah, we still got down, homie. We still got down. Please don't play with me with the goals. But I did that, right? And had one of the things that's on there, building business credit. We've been in business a long time, but we played with our credit. We didn't take it seriously. Now, full throttle out, taking it seriously, going to see where we end up in a year from now, right? We got some plans and visions, got some ideas. Gonna put it in effect. Whenever I talk to certain homies, and one of the homies just commented on it, shout out to Dijon. I talk to certain homies, it's always ideas. It's always okay. Well, what you just do, right? Okay, shit. Where'd you just go? Right? It's not competition. but it's this is who we are. You know what I'm saying? And I love for homies to remind me, this is who we are, dog. Okay, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Okay, we still doing vacation. We married. We ain't out here looking crazy. We taking care of our kids. Okay, this is what we doing. Okay, this is what we doing. We ain't one upping each other. We just can we keeping it the same way we influence the streets, right? Because all of us had some type of influence on the streets. The same way we can do it now, right? But in a positive way. If you out there spewing shit that's getting cast heads split, you can do better than that, right? If you can't say something, then be quiet. But don't send cats on crash dummy missions and get young homies hurt because that's what's going on right now. And I know a lot of times you can't tell these cats nothing, but stick with the conversations that you can influence, right? And if you can't influence anybody, influence yourself. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold too. But that's the key. Winter conversations, homie. Winter conversations. I got another book I just read. You know what I'm saying? That I'm on with that's talking about depression. And I'm gonna have a whole nother episode on that because I think a lot of us are dealing with that on the low. We got mental issues that stigmatized in our community that we don't talk about. It's okay, right? Problems are okay as long as we talking about solutions, right? Ain't no sense of talking about a problem if we ain't talking about the solution in the same breath. What are we gonna do about it? There's some people loser mentality focuses too much on the problem. Hey man, house is burning down. Da 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 da. Man, I don't know how it caught on fire, but it's on fire right now, man. The fire is high, man. Okay, when we gonna have a water conversation, right? Don't tell me you broke, right? Don't tell me that you taking L's. Don't tell me that shit unless you telling me something you got in the pot, right? We used to cook work, right? The homie T Swiller, man. Shout out to T. I ain't gonna put his real name out there, but he used to have different at pots at different stages. Always something brewing, right? He the pot over here that's almost done, baby bottles over here. It's like 3, 4 pot in my house, man. Man, this cat's on here. I promise you, I tell you no lies. Anyways, but you think about that in life, we gotta have the same thing. We gotta have a few different things going. So if I hear you saying I'm broke, yeah, but I got 4 bottles sitting over here. Okay, well, what you got? You in school? Nah, but man, I got the tax code. I'm about to start messing with these taxes and I'm about to take H&R. But okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now we talking. Okay, and if that don't work, I'm about to go do that's it. Right? 50 Cent talk about get rich or die trying. You better be trying something. You sitting there, you talking about your problem. Nobody, first of all, nobody wants to hear that shit. First of all, I'm gonna just tell you right now. Like I think it was Les Brown that said that. Not even your doctor wants to hear your problems. You feel what I'm saying? So not even your doctor wants to hear that shit. Not unless you're talking about something you're doing, like I said, in the same breath about it. Don't tell me you broke. Don't tell me you got a messed up attitude. You ain't went and bought a book on nothing. Don't tell me that I keep getting passed up for jobs and I can only work here if you ain't up there trying to better. And right now, you can learn anything on YouTube, whatever. It doesn't have to be a quote unquote a traditional way of learning. You can learn anything. I was talking to my son, he was doing guitar. His guitar teacher learned on YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's the type of mentality. I'm like, homie, we could learn whatever on YouTube. My wife, I got some on TikTok, fixed our stove with some lime. You can learn anywhere. God is omnipresent. You ain't knowing that. He in TikTok. He he in your my infuser over here. I got the fragrances popping in here. He in my water. He in my kids. God is omnipresent, man. Are you kidding me? He will show up wherever the hell he wants to. Excuse me to put hell in that same conversation, but he will show up wherever he wants to. So the thing about it is that's why it's so important for you to show up wherever you're supposed to be, right? We are exactly where we're supposed to be. That's why it's so important to be in the moment right there because that's the gift. But show up to those opportunities because God's trying to give you another one. But most of us, because it's uncomfortable to move and do all this other stuff, it's uncomfortable to seek out new. new friends, and new opportunities. Because that shit is uncomfortable. We'd rather go to the cooler and chop it up about what we did last year, about how we're gonna mimic it. One thing that me and my wife have learned over the past year, shit changes. Go to a restaurant. We keep trying to go to our same restaurants. Mm-mm. And God's trying to force us to do new things. You feel what I'm saying? So take those opportunities to go seek out a new place. I'm looking for a new steakhouse now. Mastro's been playing. So now we're looking for, which is fantastic because we're going to find a new one, right? And get either we're going to go back to what we know or you know what I'm saying? But this is what life is about, right? But you got to have the winner mentality because other people, oh man, shit, life is, whoa, ooh, nah, nah, nah. Life is beautiful, homie. Long as you breathing, even if you ain't gonna know it. So it doesn't matter as long as you getting up every day. And I know it can suck. I've been in the suck, right? I've been in the suck, right? There's an episode I think in season 1 or season 2 that we talk about embrace the suck, and I've been there, dog. Trust me on that one. And it sucked, coming out the gate with $200, dog, and the game is going 100 miles an hour. You ain't got nothing, nothing. When I say nothing, nothing. Nothing stacked, nothing, no plug, no nothing. And had to keep a positive mental attitude. But I learned in there when I got that book, PMA. PMA by Dr. It'll come back to me. But Positive Mental Attitude. Best book in the world. That's shout out to my boy Fat Cat. You know what I'm saying? Pass that to him, right? Right before we almost got into a riot. You feel me? But that's the kind of things that change you, right? When you gotta keep a positive mental attitude when everybody ain't putting boots on. You're like, man, what? You know what I'm saying? So those conversations in there, I had to watch myself because everybody in there talking about a bunch of BS, and I was on some BS. That's why I had to change my conversation. That's the book I highly recommend to you guys. Is the Four Agreements, man. It will it will change you. I guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? And it did for me too. And I read that in a lower place as well. And that helped me at each stage of life. So I'd say that's why I walk around proudly with this shirt on, always be reading. I really believe in that. I really believe that that's the key to success, man. I truly, every successful person that I've heard of loves to read. And we do too. We just haven't found the thing that we love. Oh, I hate reading. You haven't found something that sparks your interest yet. You haven't found something that talks to you and says, hey, man, I'm your medicine. You didn't know it? I'm the one that's gonna tell you, I didn't even know I was fucked up. Right. I didn't even know I had problems. Right. You feel what I'm saying? And this is gonna be the things that expose you to certain things. People who had similar stories than you, right? I didn't even know people. Yes. Reading a book about African American leisure, right? Finishing that. I showed you guys that with Allison Jefferson. Corona had a black um um uh like a country club. Lake Elsinore, we stayed rocking out there. We was in Santa Clarita, Santa Monica, Huntington Beach, Pacific Beach Club. We had all oceanfront stuff. In the 1920s, we had prominent people. Nobody talks about that kind of stuff. But that's what I'm on. I'm on that positive stuff, right? What we look like. I love it, man. I'm shining like my ancestors would think I should be, period. And doing it with a happy face. You dig what I'm saying? They ain't walking around, man, it's messed up. It was messed up then, and they had a positive attitude. You walking around here and there's jobs. Oh man, I don't want to work there. Why? Because my homegirl making a grip on Instagram. Who cares? You don't know what opportunities at McDonald's, man. You might have 3 or 4 of these and be passing them down to your grandkids, but you won't go flip no damn fries because it's too much for you. Ain't no flipping no fries. I was talking to somebody and I was like, when you a loser mentality, when you ask somebody a question, like I'll do a rhetorical, hey man, what you think about this? And the first thing they frown their face is, I don't know. Like, do you want to? Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the loser mentality would rather sit there than do a Google search. Rather sit there and not know They hop on their phone and do a damn Google search and be informed. That's ridiculous. But that is the loser mentality. Whereas I am so jazzed that I can learn anything at the drop of a finger. I don't know when to stop. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, now how it takes me down these rabbit holes, dog. But I love it, man. I go from YouTube. I go to YouTube on my TV, my phone, looking up everything. I was looking up how to understand this research directory. Had a whole YouTube on it. Watched it, done, figured it out. Love it. Excited about life. Trying to do more. Excited about the things, but are we dealing with other things that are preventing us from seeing the world this way? Or is there chemical imbalances that are doing that? Is there influence? But I think it's more or less influence. And I'm damn sure not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist, any of that. Right. But I understand. I've been through some stuff and I've understand, how to try to fix myself. When our next episode is going to be about fixing yourself. Sometimes we got to be our own damn mechanics. And our next episode is talking completely about that, right? And how do you learn how to fix yourself? You do a lot of research on yourself. You figure out what's right with you, right? Where your strengths are. How do you do that? There's a book, I think it's called Strength Finder 2.0 or something like that. Book online or something like that. They added in college. But there's ways to find out what your strengths are, right? Do a self-assessment. What do people and get around people who not yes people, not negative people who look at you and that with a little envy, but try to get around somebody who give you some real feedback on some of the things that make you stand out if you're not able to recognize them yourself. Because we need to focus on our strengths, right? A lot of times we try to fix weaknesses, right? And those weaknesses are just that. So what? Capitalize on the strengths. Those are the things that are really going to take us to and from, right? Can change in a matter of, like Meek Mill said, right? 1 year, one hell of a year, or one good year can change your life. And one good year of having positive conversations, one good year of speaking with nothing but winners, whether you know them personally or not, will change you. And I encourage you, look at podcasts. This podcast is just one of millions. There are a lot of them out there that you can spend time, especially if you're commuters. If you guys are commuting, you got a world of opportunity to learn a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So don't look at it. My truck drivers, homies is doing Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all that. Perfect opportunity to turn your car into a motivational university or whatever it is you're trying to learn. Talk to somebody who's lost something and gained something. Les Brown is another good resource, right? Optimistic. When you get around these people that have this winner's mentality, you feel good when you finish talking to them, right? You don't feel like, damn, man, it is kind of messed up out here. You feel like, man, shit, I'm about to start something tonight if they open, right? That it's a completely different feeling. So we got to stick with those kind of people. And if you can't find them, search self-help, find your guy on or your girl on a podcast network. Find a YouTuber that you really get off on, but connect with somebody socially because your circle may not have that product for you. Your circle may not be the type that just has that type of influence. You may come from a group of people who just see the world a certain way, who never, a lot of them haven't achieved much, don't know how that feels. So they don't know how to talk to you when you achieve shit. You ever been around those type of people don't know how to praise you right? You got to start patting yourself on the back, literally, because when they praise you, you damn near offended. Those people exist. So, hey, what do you do about that? Nothing. You can't change them, but you can change your exposure to them. So limit that shit. Period. So all right. So I got a few books. I'm reading right now. I'm reading the Master Switch by Tim Wu. Right. It's an older book, but this book talks about just how communication started, how radio started, how first of all telephones. It started with the telegrams, then it went to telephones, then it went to radio, then it went to television and internet and all that stuff. But so that's my little nerd shit that I'm on. The other books, let me show you. I just got this one. Um, Let me see. I got one that I kind of dug, so let me show you guys that. But it's kind of on depression. I'm just getting into it. And I'm not saying I'm depressed, but we've all had depressive episodes, right? To where we feel like the world's coming to an end. And this one seemed like it was pretty good. So let me see. Hold up. Hold up. I'm just trying to pull it up so if you guys can be patient with me. Let's see, reader. And then I'll show you guys. I bought a couple of other books that I'll show you that I have for. Um, all right, hold on. I got it up now, so just be patient. But I got some other books that are on Amazon Kindle. Audible. So show this to you guys. All right. So those are, I don't know what those are, but that feeling good one is one. Mood therapy. It talks about cognitive therapy. I ain't too far in it right now, but I just got into it and it seems pretty good. It deals with some of the things that a lot of us deal with, anxiety, because things happen. I'm trying, you're trying to fix yourself, right? So I'm trying to, like I said, I don't want to give away too much of the episode next week on how to become, how to fix yourself. But these are some of the things that I'll be talking about. But this is the one I'm reading right here, feeling good, because everything is feeling, right? And if you look at, let me open up another one. I'll open up another tab and show you guys that for what else I'm doing in terms of the Audible. You guys can see that as well. Then hopefully you guys soak up some of this stuff. That other book, of course, this is my classic right here, which is the Dream Giver and What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. These are conversations, like I said, I'm talking to myself. Dream Giver is a life changer. So if you guys haven't read the Dream Giver, trust me on that one. It is fantastic. Let me show you my Audible, some of the things that I've just purchased. So you guys can see where I'm at. Shout out to Tavis Smile. I got this one from Tavis. So let me show you guys this one. Hold on. Hopefully everybody go ahead. And if you guys are reading something special, put it in the chat, man. I love to see what that looks like. And let me can't hide this. So vibrate higher, live your daily power. I got that from Tavis, young African American Black author. So she was dope. Of course, I just bought the 48 Laws of Power again. You see Limitless. So I'm in Limitless. I got into that a little bit. I'm not too far into that. Quantum Life. This is another book that I got from Tavis Smiley. This is about an astrophysicist who was on all kind of stuff. He went from the streets. He was in college selling weed. He was smoking. So it was all kind of stuff in here, but really good. Age-proof brain. I'm on that. Feeling is a secret. And some of these other ones I've shown you guys in the past. So, I'm always trying to share my books with the squad. Hopefully you guys enjoyed or grabbing some of those titles. Um, and yeah, man, any questions, make sure you guys send an email, man. Look, if you guys are digging what I'm talking about, man, tap the FM, man. I need reviews. I need subs. I need all that, man. Share with your peoples and tap in next week, man. We're talking about how to fix that ass. Peace.